Now, the Frankie
back of what the doctor was just saying, Dr. Sal was saying, because we are not meant to suffer. We just are not meant to suffer. We're meant to be happy, joyous, pain-free. And for many, we are told and taught that as we get older, that it's just inevitable. That's the word. It's inevitable that we're going to be sick. It's inevitable that we're going to have aches and pains. It's inevitable. Well, it's not inevitable. And Dr. Kerry Goyette is here from the Zone Healing, who talks about perfect zone healing, who talks about the zones and how emotional, physical, and chemical stresses can be fixed. Imagine that. Healing the body to total wellness. And welcome back, as always, Dr. G. And Dr. G, I know several of our listeners are coming to you, and people that are starting to feel better and look better and act better, including myself. Of course, the healing that has taken place in my own body has just been absolutely spectacular and amazing. And you have a seminar on healing using the zone technique coming up August 8th in Waltham. And any practitioner out there, it's just for practitioners. And I think in the fall, Dr. G, we ought to do an open house for everybody to come.
That sounds great.
In Amesbury. Yeah, in Amesbury. And check out the zone in person. But I just want to go back to the limiting beliefs. And that's the theme of today. You know, what are the limiting beliefs that stop us from being and getting what it is that we want? And it's that conversation that you have with yourself. And I know that my dear friend, and I just adore him, Barry, this is a man that was put in a position in life that none of us want to be in. He collapsed on his kitchen floor about 15 years ago, Barry Shore. And he was had a very rare disease, Guillain-Barré disease, and he was paralyzed from the neck down. And he stayed in a hospital for a very, very long time. And he was at the beginning of a huge career in technology, one of the pioneers of the fax machine, believe it or not. But he had an attitude that never, ever changed, and it was of gratitude. Imagine being in a bed for months and months and still being grateful. And one day he was walking, Dr. G, and someone said, you ought to try swimming. I could get you walking, get you out of that wheelchair. And he did it. He started swimming. And years later, here we are. And he has been swimming ever since. And he's ambulatory. He walks with a Charmin stick. And this is a man that calls himself the ambassador of joy. And one of his mentors was Louise Hicks. And Louise Hicks was, of course, one of the early founders with Wayne Dyer and of Hay House. Louise Hay, rather. Not Louise Hicks, Louise Hay. And Louise Hay had a philosophy of create the reality that you want by setting the intention. Dr. Wayne Dyer, the power of intention. And what you're sharing with all of us today is that you are actually doing this work to give people the ability to not have that pain and to be able to live their lives pain-free. Explain a little bit about this zone and why this conversation of limiting beliefs has so much to do with how we are.
Well, you just unpacked so much in a small amount of time. So I just want to go over a few things that you started with that become very, very important of why people are healthy versus why people are sick. And you start with the belief. What you believe in your subconscious is a direct transcript of your physical body and your life. So if you have beliefs and ideas and concepts that are good for your health, you're going to manifest health on your body. If you do not, you're going to manifest sickness and disease on your body. So that's the first part. When you talk about belief, you started with it's inevitable. People here in our culture are taught it's inevitable that you're going to just fall apart and get aches and pains and be sick as you get older. Or you might have concepts around, if I go outside when it's raining, I'm just going to get sick. Well, guess what? If those are your ideas and your beliefs, that's what's going to happen to you. But when you understand that the idea and the concept that you have in your subconscious physically manifests on your body, then you start to change those ideas to serve you to actually create health in your body. I'm interacting with a patient from a physical level that allows the body to actually physically be regulated and monitored from the parts of the brain that control each part of the body and direct the intelligence of the body to actually function properly, because your natural state is balance, is health, and you aren't designed to suffer. That is, I agree with your previous caller. You're not designed to suffer. You're designed to be in flow state. You're designed to be healthy. You're designed to feel good and function great. And ultimately, what's in that subconscious will affect you on a very physical level, from a body, the thing level. So your body is the thing in this case. And most people, as you made reference to Louise Hay and Hay House, what they're often relating to is those ideas and concepts you have around success and finance and wellness and sometimes health. I'm sure there's some people there that are talking about health, but most people hear this as it relates to abundance and what you do to get wealthy and attract wealth and things like that. It's the same principle. It's a universal principle. So when you truly understand how to tap into these universal principles and laws at work, you can use them for health, you can use them for finance, you can use them for success. I mean, it's a principle, so you can apply it, and if you know how to apply it, you allow it to work for you. And what's interesting is, Einstein once said that imagination is more powerful than knowledge, and you talked about creating the reality. So if you can imagine yourself being healthy and being vibrant well into your hundreds, you can create that for yourself, for sure. And so...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, if a patient's coming into my office and they have XYZ symptoms, and often in our medical society, we take a group of these symptoms that people are talking about and clump them together, and when they have similar symptoms, we call it a named condition. Well, the name means nothing. So when a patient walks into my office, I'm asking them, hey, listen, your natural state is flow and health and balance. So if you're not experiencing that, tell me what symptoms you are experiencing, and then I'm going to go ahead and feel for a point along the base of your head that correlates and has nerve fibers that go to each part of the brain that literally runs the 6 systems that make up your body. So we'll know very quickly and very accurately what systems are working appropriately and which ones are not. And then that tells me exactly what I need to do from a physical standpoint with the patient to start to stimulate 4 specific points along the cord that will reboot and recharge the brain back to its default state, so it's self-regulating again and sending appropriate signals to the organs they control so they can function. And then,
now,
on a side note, that's the physical portion. But on the side note is I'm listening to what? Their ideas and their concepts that they have around health. And And I'm working on, hey, if they have an idea or a belief that is not serving them, I have to what? I have to tell them and direct the subconscious to heal them and to get them to function. So from a mental capacity, we're talking about, hey, these are healing concepts. These are healing ideas. These are imagined, right? The image is attached to the physical healing, so they heal and heal completely.
So when you're broken and you're feeling like you can't get out of bed, you can't move, you can't exercise, and Frankie, if you only knew, I have a terrible life, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm very limited, and blah, 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 and the story goes on and on and on. As we tell our story, we become the story. We stop believing. Like when we were kids, we believed so many things, and we stop believing because we've been beaten by life. And what Dr. G is offering all of us is an opportunity to go back to that time when we were younger to see that healing can and will take place. And that is critical for longevity. So if you're listening to this show and you're saying, how on earth am I going to live to be 100? Then you probably won't. But if you're like me and many others that are listening, that is our goal, is to be vibrant and show the world what that 100 is just a number, that 75 is a number, that 80 is a number. It doesn't determine who or what we're going to be. And that's really the biggest piece of this conversation today, is what is it that you want to believe? And I hope that you choose to believe in healing, and that you want very much to understand how the zone works. And for more information, go to Market Square Cairo, marketsquarecairo.com, or call 978-834-6056. We'll be back with Dr. G in just a moment. This is Frankie Boyer. Stay tuned.
Have you noticed past the age of 30 your energy level, mood, skin, and body has changed, and maybe not for the better? It may have to do with DHEA levels. DHEA is an important building block for more than 50 different hormones, and the body naturally produces DHEA. We make the most DHEA in our prime between the ages of 18 to 25. DHEA levels decline each year in men and women after about age 30. Research has established that maintaining healthy DHEA levels may help us feel more energetic, help reduce belly fat, and help us get a better night's sleep. Often, youthful levels of DHEA are tied to good health, while declining levels can contribute to an assortment of common health problems. Twist 25 is a high-quality DHEA supplement cream that absorbs easily into the skin, leaving no odor or oily residue. To learn more, visit twist25.com or call toll-free 888-489-4782. Look and feel your best with Twist 25, 888-489-4782.
What if everything you've been told about aging is wrong? That your body is supposed to break down? The pain, fatigue, illness are just part of getting older. What if that's a myth? The truth is, your body was designed for health, vitality, and longevity. At Health Zone Chiropractic, we don't chase symptoms. We restore your body back to its default state of health using the powerful zone technique. We help your body function the way it was meant to. Imagine waking up with energy, staying sharp and productive at at work, being fully present with your family and saying yes to dinners, events, and activities without hesitation. This isn't about just getting by. It's about thriving and well into your later years. Health Zone Chiropractic. Don't accept decline as normal. Unlock your body's full potential. Check out our website at www.marketsquarechiro.com to schedule your appointment online or call 978-834-6056 today and start living well for life.
Kids don't just bring home homework, they bring home germs. And those germs don't just stay with them, they spread to the whole household. That's why Clear Nasal Spray was created by a practicing physician to give parents and grandparents peace of mind. You may not think about it, but your nose is filtering out a semi-truck full of air every single day. Clear isn't just another spray. It creates an additional layer of protection in your nose that blocks bacteria and viruses before they can even take hold. Yes, even that virus. Supporting your body's defenses right where germs first try to enter. Clear is a hygiene product recommended for daily use, drug-free, non-drowsy, and safe for all ages. Just a quick spray in the morning and evening helps you cleanse your nose. Don't just hope for protection, create it. Get Clear Nasal Spray, your daily defense. Clear Nasal Spray is available at retailers nationwide and online. Check out Xlear.com for our special offers. That's Xlear.
Zone fails to send proper signals to the body. All cells, tissues, and organs connected to that zone suffer. And that's why so many of you are in an uncomfortable position. She is one of the top healers in the world. We're so thrilled to have her be a regular on the Frankie Boyer Show. I'm totally thrilled beyond. Clients, by the way, notice an immediate difference. I have a friend who she absolutely cannot believe the difference in just a few sessions with Dr. Goyette. I noticed it myself in just a few sessions. Actually, one session. I didn't. I noticed my hip. One session. That was, it was my hip was like, are you kidding me? I started walking and jumping and all of those things. My arm, I hadn't been working out because my arm was so painful when I did exercises. It was.
You showed me.
I'm sorry.
Today. You have some.
I know
now.
I know. My muscle is coming back. It's unbelievable how I've changed. I've transformed my arms because I'm able to do my workout, my arm workout. I guess the point that we're making is that if you are like most Americans, you want to believe that the pills are the answer, that the pharmaceutical industry wants you to believe that. You're watching television every night. That's the story, that this pill is what you need. It's not a pill that you need. Yes, medicine, and we've talked about this, Dr. Goyette, medicine is magnificent when you need it, when you're chronically and you have an acute situation. But the chronic illnesses and the problems that we go through, where is medicine there for you when you have 10 minutes with a doctor?
Well, I agree. Medicine has a time and a place for it. So for acute crisis and save your life, yes. But the reality is medicine long term is just managing a condition. It's not fixing a problem. It's managing a group of symptoms. So when you actually get to the part of the body that is not functioning properly and get it to go into self-regulation and healing, and allow that tissue or organ to function, you won't need the medication that you're presumably on to support that particular organ. And I can't tell you how many patients would come into the office, whether it's blood pressure medications or thyroid medications or anti-anxiety medications or sleep medications. They're on these things to handle a particular problem, but they never come off it. There's no goal or treatment plan to get you off of it because they haven't fixed the problem. So if they were to come off that med without doing anything to address the issue, then they go back to the way they were before they were put on the medication. And they go back to the doctor and they say, see, you need this medication because, we brought you off the blood pressure medication. Your blood pressure went right back through the roof again. You need to be on this medication. Well, they haven't fixed the problem. So what we're suggesting is that you are literally interacting with the body in a way that gets it to go into self-regulation mode, which is what its default state is, and instruct the body to heal so they can work properly. And when it's doing that, your body can have an adaptive blood pressure appropriately, having the correct amount of pressure at the appropriate times. So when that happens, the body can start to utilize that med less because ultimately it's doing the job of what it was supposed to be doing. So then when you start to go back to your doctor and they're modulating and they're doing whatever test they do to regulate whether they need to increase or decrease or bring you off medications, then they can see, oh, okay, it's working better. Okay, so we can start to decrease this. Oh, now you don't need this, and we can start to take you off. I don't do that. That's out of my scope of practice. But my job is when a patient's coming in to figure out what exactly is imbalanced on the body that's causing that problem, and then ultimately reset the system so that it goes back to its default state of balance where it can self-regulate and get appropriate signals to the organ it controls. And so then it starts to heal that tissue and that organ, and then that organ starts working properly. And then because you start to feel better and you can start to do the things you couldn't do before. And then, they go back to their prescribing doctors and they can appropriately weed them off or take them off as appropriate. But you're correct. The medicine isn't fixing anything.
Yeah. So we need to change the way we think about medicine. That's number one. We need to change that thought that doctors can heal us, because the truth is we have to heal ourselves.
Well, and the body's always becoming either healthy or sick. So if you're doing things to actually allow the body to create health moment to moment, you will be healthy. If you're actually doing things that are causing the body to become sick, then you'll be sick. And there are physical laws that the body that needs to follow to create health, and most people know this: eat well, move, have proper sanitation, have proper sleep. These are physical laws that when you obey those laws, your body stays in that natural state. If you don't, then your body starts to break down. And again, it goes back to those beliefs as well. That's another thing that starts to either create health in the body or allows the body to break down.
No.
Oh, Frankie, you there? Oh.
So, Dr. Goyette, I lost you for just a second there. I want you to tell me, how long can it take? Does it depend on the condition?
It doesn't depend on the condition. It depends on the body's healing rate. So everybody has their own healing rates. So as you mentioned, you noticed instantly changes, okay? And most people notice something right after the first visit and the first reset. Other people, it may take a few visits to get the momentum behind the healing, and other people take a little longer, but you will know because, number one, as I'm feeling the points on the back of the head, it allows us to see how much more imbalanced the brain is and how much better the system is working overall, because when the brain centers are balancing, you're working better. And then as a patient, you know, because you're feeling better and you're functioning better. So it really depends on the person's healing rate versus the condition. I mean, I've had patients who've had issues for years and years and years in one visit, and they just, boom, reset themselves.
Yeah. Next time you come on, I want to talk about the digestion and GLP-1 drugs and how we really need to let the body do what it wants to do. And when the zone is when you're in perfect zone, you don't have to worry about that, the food and what you're eating and how you're eating and all of that. It's so fascinating. It really is. By the way, if you're a practitioner, you just have a little time left to sign up for the event August 8th in Waltham with Dr. Goyette. You can go to healthzoneenterprises.com. If you are a listener and you want more information, go to Market Square Zone, marketsquarecairo.com, or call 978-834-6056 and check out the zone. Find out if this is the right place for you to get your healing to begin. For so many, it's worked. Thanks for listening, everybody. Make it a great day. And as always, smile.